Alright, so I got new tires for this, and I picked up the rear and I kind of spun it. Well, not the rear, but I picked up this one here and I spun it. It kind of sounded a little bit gritty. So I took the tire off and I noticed that one of the brake shoes had delaminated from, or the friction material delaminated from the shoe. So I'm going to replace all these brakes because I don't want to have a problem with it. I'm just going to replace the brakes, and I'm going to replace the seal on the hub, and I'm going to set the bearing preload. I'm kind of up against the clock here. Normally we would repack the bearings and all that. These are ezlube axles or hubs, so I'm not going to repack the bearings. I'm just going to change the seal, and I'm going to change the brakes, and I'm going to just fill these with grease through the grease fitting on the end, and save a little bit of time. I know it's probably best to clean them all up and go through them and all, but I don't think there's going to be a problem with the bearings because I don't really have a problem with the bearings. I've had this trailer for 2 years and I've only used it 4 times, so I don't use it very much. I'm not going to get new hubs. These hubs do have some rust to them, but like I say, I very rarely use this trailer anyway, so I'm not going to spend a few $100s more on the hubs because they're just going to rust. And then they're going to look exactly like they look now in probably a year or a couple of months. So I know I'm cutting corners, but it's I'm probably not going to use them and get the life out of them anyway. So to me, it's just kind of wasting money. But if you want to do it properly, you should change your hubs as well. Change your brakes, hubs, go through your bearings, clean them up, clean them off, grease them, or pack the grease in and then put them back together. With these ezlube axles or hubs, you're not supposed to just pump grease into them. You're supposed to actually spin the tire while you're pumping the grease into them. It keeps you from blowing the seal out in the back. We have some sealed bearings that are on the sanders that we use at work, and if you just pump grease right into them, it'll blow the seal right out of the side of them. But if you have it running and spinning, you can pump grease into them and it will actually come out around the seal, out of the seal bearings without blowing them out. So like I say, same thing with this. You're supposed to spin it and it causes the grease to kind of travel around. If you don't, it'll just kind of ball up and then blow through the back. But as you spin it, it'll work its way through the bearings and stuff. So keep in mind when you grease these, that's how you're supposed to grease them. Spinning the wheel like that as you do it. So we're going to take these off. I did get new wheels to go with them. As you can tell, it is quite rusty. So let's get these off. So this is a 14,000 pound trailer, and it actually has surprisingly small wheel studs. It only has 1/2-inch wheel studs, which doesn't seem right to me, but that's what's on it. So I guess if I ever change them, I'd get 9/16 or 5/8. My dump trailer has 9/16 wheel studs, and that's a 12,000 pound trailer. This being 14,000 pound, I would think it would have bigger wheel studs, but it doesn't. So I don't know if it was something somebody changed or what the deal was. See how it does that? I don't really like that about this thing. So like, you see how it just kind of stops and then it starts going again? So when it gets easy, it like stops and then it starts going slow. It's kind of stupid. See how you go, and it stops and then it starts up again? Not a fan. I don't know if mine's just not working right, but I don't like it. Actually still has 3 bars out of 4, and it's kind of acting like that. So you want to get between here to pry it off. I had to use a hammer on the last one and kind of bang down on the top of the screwdriver to get it in there to start getting it moving. So sometimes you got to kind of just pound a screwdriver in there to get it like a chisel. Okay. Is that? Make sure you ain't got any crepe in there. This is a after 2002 axle, so it's got this little retaining clip on here. Doesn't use a cotter pin. Come under here, kind of work this little clip off. It's got these little tabs that kind of grab behind it. Little flat spot. See my pliers.
They see your video. They see you down to your video.
Hmm?
You're down to the video for now.
No, it's just the screen goes dark. So it doesn't waste the battery.
A pretty root out that looks like a gun.
Does it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hold it from a root out and looks like a gun.
Pull that washer off. I don't know if I said, but that was a 1.5 inch 1.5 inch nut on this one. So, let's try to pull this off. It don't want to come off. What? I don't have a secret to digging in hard dirt. Huh. All right. You can see we had a little delamination, so there's that. The brake still worked, it's just the glue or whatever comes off. I don't know why they glue these on. I know because it's cheap, but it sucks. Got a lot of these I've had to change because it just comes apart like that. So these are, I believe, 9/16. I was using 14mm, but it was a little hard to get on and off, so. That. So there's little dimples here that center that brake backing plate, and I'm just trying to clean up around it so it goes on there well. I don't have any problems with it. This is what we got. So let's put together. That on, and we'll put our nuts back on. So these are not Dexter OEM brakes. They are True Ride, I guess. I think they're True Ride, whatever it said on there. Do have to connect the wires in the back with some butt connectors. Doesn't matter which way they go. It's an electromagnet. The wires go either one to either one. So I'm gonna chip all this extra rust off. And it's out. So this takes the 2 1/4 inch seal. I think there's 2 seals. This is the 1036 seal. I think part number is, I believe, 010-036-00. You can get them in kits. If you go to the Dexter website, you can get service manuals and all kinds of stuff for whatever trailer that you might have. There's plenty of grease in there. Even the guy I got it from, he didn't really use it all that much. It was all in town stuff, and I know everybody says they took excellent care of everything they ever owned, and then they're selling it for some reason, but here's what I was told. So I say they look pretty good. So their instructions say to put some sealer on the outside of the flange, or outside of the seal. They say to put the sealer on there unless you have sealer already on there. Then you don't have to. I put a little bit on there just in case. They don't put a ton on there because you obviously don't want it coming out all over the place. The video that they showed Dexter doing, they actually said to knock that in there with a 2x4 or piece of 2x4 wood block. I did not do that. So put a little grease on the inside of the seal. Kind of lubricate it. This right here, that's a little hole right there that the grease comes out. So this tip, this Zerk fitting goes all the way back and comes out there on this side of the seal. So as you spin it, it pumps in and it'll coat the hole inside and it works its way out. Guess I can take like a whole tube or something, or up to like a tube to fill it. So I'm gonna get some and I'm gonna refill it later. So let's see which way this adjuster goes. So once you get it all on there, obviously after it's after you get the hub all on, you're gonna want to adjust your brake. Looks like it's got to go like this. So if you're poking in from the back, you're gonna flick it up. So you come in from the back, you're gonna flick the wheel up from the back side here through the little groove at the bottom, little hole there. Not back on. So set the preload on this axle. Oh, that's dragging. I'll have to. Oh man, that freaking hurt. Sure you don't stick your fingers around there and get them wedged up in the backing plate, because wow, that'll wake you up. Anyway, so I don't have a socket for this just yet. I got one coming. So its torque is not to 50 foot-pounds while spinning the hub. Then you will hold the hub steady and back this off until it's loose. And then you go finger tight. And then they say to put the clip on. Don't turn the hub after you back it off. So say 50 foot-pounds, or they say use a wrench or whatever, pair of pliers, and go like full torque on it as hard as you can get it by hand on like a one. If you've got a 1 foot wrench, 1 foot ratchet, socket, whatever, then 50 foot-pounds at the end of 1 feet is 50 foot-pounds. So it's 1 foot away. I think. Anyway, so you want to put 50 foot-pounds on it, either a wrench or a ratchet or pliers as full torque while spinning the hub. Then hold the hub still, back it off till it's loose, then go finger tight, and then you're going to put your retainer on. And once the retainer is on, you should be able to turn the nut a little bit, so it should be loose. If it's not loose, take the clip back off and turn it 1/12 of a turn back, and then put the retainer back on, and then you should be good. At least that's what the Dexter manual says. So I'm gonna go tight. Do something about that. I have to back this off a little bit right now because it's too tight. All right, I'm gonna back that off. Let's tighten this up. Alright, that's tight. Let's see if I can get it off. A little rotating. So, loose. I'm gonna go finger tight. Take our tab on, so it goes over like a hole here, and then it goes on a flat on the other side. Not over a hole, but there's two little gaps here. Will go like on a point, and then you'll get two across the flat side, and then you should be able to move it a little bit, which can. So it should be good. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to tighten up your adjuster until you can feel it dragging on the wheels, on the hubs here, and tighten them up so you have significant resistance. Then loosen them up until you feel it just lightly grabbing or just lightly touching. You don't want them touching a lot because they'll heat up and then you'll have problems. It'll burn them out and cause premature failure. So I'm going to tighten this up, and then I'm going to back it off until it's just lightly dragging. I'm basically there already because it was kind of tight. I just want to tighten it up so it kind of centers those brake shoes in there. It'll push against the side and it'll center the brake shoes, and then you kind of back it off. See, so I tightened them up, and now I can't turn the wheel, so I'm going to start backing it off until I have a light drag. This cap back on. There's nothing in there. there's that. So I just have to hook up the 2 butt connectors on the 2 wires back here, and I should be done with this wheel after I grease it. So like I said, I'm gonna pull this plug off and pump grease into there as I turn it until the grease comes out into the cap here, and then we should be good. If you're gonna do the 12,000 mile greasing that Dexter recommends, you're going to continue doing that until fresh grease comes out. So you keep pumping that in there as you turn the hub until you exchange the grease with fresh grease. So you're basically going to pump like a whole tube in there until all of it comes out, and you either get a different color or it's all exchanged and you can tell you have the fresh grease coming. So these are the butt connectors I use. You get them from Walmart. They actually have a pretty good price on them. So crimp them on, use a heat shrink to shrink them down, and should have a good waterproof connection. I say I usually go to Walmart to get them. I've gotten some off of Amazon before, and they were not very good. Problem I had with them was that they were thin. The wall was thin on it, so when you crimp it down, it wouldn't hold the shape. So you'd crimp it down and it would open back up a little bit because it was thin, and you could pull the wire right out. And I got a whole case of them. I mean, it wasn't much. It was like 20 bucks for like 1,000 or whatever it was, but I mean, it was like $15 for like 300 or something ridiculous. But anyway, they didn't work very well. I still have them, and I won't use them for anything, so I don't know why I still have them. I should just throw them out. But that was a problem I'd have. Ooh, nice new tires, huh? Well, there's that. It's got that little catching spot, but I got wear in. Anyway. Alright, so I'm greasing this wheel. Well, actually I greased them all already, but I'm going to grease this wheel, and I'll show you how I'm doing it. I think if you were to do the, I think it's a 12,000 mile swap of the grease, I would probably take this cap off, because so you're supposed to pump it in until it comes out, and then until you exchange it and you see the new color grease, or until you see the new grease. So basically doing it this way, you're going to fill this whole cap up. So if you take that cap off and then you do it, the grease is only going to come to here. It will drop off, so you'll have to keep kind of wiping it off as it comes out, but you'll save yourself an entire cap full of grease, if that means anything to you. So I got the wheel jacked up. I'm going to pull the cap off and I'll start pumping grease in there as I rotate it, and then I'll see the grease start coming out I'm not going to fill it until it comes out of the cap. I'm just going to fill it up until I see it in the cap, basically full. And that's what I'm going to do. So I don't really use this very much. If I drove it all the time and it went all over the place, that'd be one thing, but like I say, I probably won't use this again for another year. Alright, so you can see I got a bunch of grease there. They say you're supposed to pump it till you get the different color through, and I feel like I'm being kind of a hack about this, but it is what it is. Like I say, I'm pretty sure this is going to be fine, at least for what I'm going to do with it. But I would say do what you're comfortable with. So anyway, that's that. Hope that can help somebody. Thanks for watching.